Yeah! That's what I'm talking about! Battlefront III has been announced! I am a huge Battlefront fan, guys. You know how a lot of people talk about how GoldenEye and Halo provide all their old school multiplayer memories? That's what the Battlefront series is to me. I could not be more ecstatic. So, to celebrate, I decided to look back at probably one of my favorite series of all time. Ben, if you're watching, this one's for you. So let's take a look at Star Wars Battlefront.
Star Wars games have been around since the invention of the medium. For the longest time, they were movie tie-ins like the SNES efforts, Starship games like Rogue Squadron, or Jedi games like Jedi Knight, or the most recent Force Unleashed games.
However, there was this... hang on, I'm not done.
We had pod racers, bounty hunter chronicles, RPGs, Memorpagers, strategy games, they even kicked off the LEGO series.
But an idea came along. What about the common clone trooper on the ground? Star Wars has featured many epic battles, and a lot of them have soldiers fighting other soldiers like a traditional war. Why didn't we have games like that for so long? Probably because force-wielding Jedi and starships provided for a lot more originality than military shooters, but with all of its varied locales and awesome technology, Star Wars is probably the best IP for a military shooter. And no game demonstrated that better than 2004's Star Wars Battlefront. Except the sequel, but we'll get to that.
Battlefront has always been a team-based competitive shooter. Its core gameplay involves choosing a side, droids versus clones, or rebels versus Empire, and fighting with your 15 teammates for victory. Said victory can be achieved in two ways: get the other team's reinforcement count down to 0, or capture all the command posts. Command posts are these little pedestals that are intermittently placed throughout the battleground. Controlling a command post enables you to respawn there if you get killed, and the team with the fewest command posts will automatically lose reinforcements at a steady pace until they capture a command post to turn the odds around. So you're going to be spending most of your time plowing through enemy reinforcements to get to a command post. Once you get there, the fun really begins as you enter a world of paranoia.
Capture. Die! Oh god. Okay, just keep capturing. Come on, go down. Die! Oh, it's down. Oh my god. Oh, it's captured. Oh, thank god. Whew. Great fun.
For me, the main draw to Battlefront's single player has always been the feeling of being a one-man army. Each match can be looked at as a sandbox in which you get to kill everything that has ever lived on the map. And nothing can make me feel even more badass than after I've stormed an enemy base and wiped out 10 enemy units with a mere sliver of health left. It's adrenaline-pumping, quick-strafing, action-packed, heart-pounding, skill-centered fun. Unit selection is done well too. I'll admit I spend about 90% of my playtime as a regular machine gun toting guy, but that's more me clinging to the simplest gameplay style, and there are tactical advantages to be had by utilizing other units like snipers, rocket launchers, jetpacks, and...
Droidicus, get out! Everybody, now!
The developers really nailed the feel of these guys. If you're a clone trooper, they will become your worst nightmare. Luckily, their shields don't last forever, so it's mostly a game of finding cover and waiting for them to— Whoa! What was that? Jesus Christ, run!
I have played Star Wars Battlefront for years and still find it to be an absolute blast. But its sequel is 20 times better. Star Wars Battlefront II, released in 2005, is one of my favorite games of all time.
More maps, more gameplay options, more moves, more units, more vehicles, more of everything you could ever want from a Star Wars game. The first introduction you'll notice is the lock-on. Press square, and if an enemy is nearby, you'll lock onto them. That is really useful, and I find myself constantly tapping square when making my way across the battlefield. I think it's a great way to add to the feeling of plowing through a war zone single-handedly, enabling you to spot all the possible dangers. Then we have the sprint function. You see, now you have a stamina bar in this game. You can drain it by rolling with the circle button button, another big improvement by the way, or sprinting with L3. It's a really useful move, and it speeds up travel time significantly, but to be fair, I probably broken like 3 controllers just because of sprinting in this game. I'm not even kidding. Then again, that's probably a testament to how awesome this game is if I've played it enough to destroy numerous PS2 left analog sticks. With these new moves, traversing the environment is a lot more fun, and I found myself missing these when going back to capture footage for Battlefront 1. But that's not to say Battlefront 1 doesn't have some draws over its infinitely superior sequel. I think sniping in the original game feels a bit better, and while some maps were ported from Battlefront 1 to 2 and significantly improved in that process, with a prime example of Hoth and its way more badass AT-ATs, all 3 of my favorites from the original Battlefront were left out. Bespin Platforms, Bespin Cloud City, and the Dune Sea on Tatooine. That last one in particular was disappointing. I love this map for 2 main reasons. One, it's kind of cool having a 3-way battle between the Rebels, Stormtroopers, and Tusken Raiders. There's nothing like that in the sequel, which is a shame. 2, I loved flying up to those pillars at the top of the stage and sniping stormtroopers while they had no chance to get to me. So it's a shame that we couldn't have that, or the 2 Bespin stages. My last gripe is with how they got rid of the Jedi on the battlefield, and by that I mean enemy Jedi. These guys were the stuff of nightmares because you couldn't kill them. Well, unless you got really creative. These guys were so threatening, and it was a shame we didn't have that same tension in the sequel.
But the Jedi weren't entirely removed from the sequel. In fact, they were more important than ever.
Oh, yeah! This edition alone makes Battlefront II the superior game. I love playing as Jedi. They're super agile, super fast, and super deadly. It's just so much fun to be a Jedi and mow down the competition. Sprinting into an enemy feels awesome, especially as General Grievous. Oh, and the Jedi can jump incredibly high, leading to the long-awaited return of
Jack from above, biatch.
Then there's Mos Eisley Assault, in which the entire map is populated by hero characters. It's chaotic, nonsensical, and when you can't kill your opponents in one lightsaber swipe, the combat comes off as kinda clunky.
And God bless every batshit crazy second of it. This mode was my childhood. I cannot express how many hours me and my friend Ben put into this mode.
The only problem is that not all the heroes are Jedi, especially with the Rebels. A lot of areas will have you play as Han Solo or Leia, and I don't want to do that. I want to be a Jedi. Then there's space combat, which I enjoy quite a bit. I've never played Rogue Squadron, and I assume that's the better option, but this is pretty good too. In keeping with the whole one-man army feel, you can actually storm the ship single-handedly and destroy a lot of critical systems. However, dogfighting isn't really going to happen too much, because the enemy's auto turrets will constantly kill you. Plus, it isn't productive at all in winning the match. But I do enjoy performing bombing raids on enemy ships, so what more can I ask for? Aside from an overall resurgence for this genre, I mean, how many dogfighting games have we seen recently? Don't let us down, EA. I really appreciate the extra effort in both Story Mode and Galactic Conquest. Both these modes were in the original Battlefront, but they were kind of lacking. Battlefront 1 Story Mode was just regular battles with yellow enemies instead of red, and Galactic Conquest was a bit on the bland side. On the other hand, Battlefront 2 is a great Galactic Conquest. Think of this mode like Risk. Every time you transport a fleet and every time you land on a planet, a battle ensues to see which army takes over the planet. With the addition of stuff like an actual currency, the need to buy extra soldiers, and a lot more creative bonuses, it's an awesome mode. And then we have the Story Mode, called Rise of the Empire, which is great. It's got a nice storyline about how clone troopers became stormtroopers, and instead of just being a battle every level, you are tasked with performing objectives before your reinforcement count hits 0. It's a lot of fun, and worth going through at least once. Oh, and the narrator's awesome too.
It's been said that the 501st got the best of the war. We also got the worst. On Felucia, the Seps dug their metal heels into the muck of that alien hellhole and dared the Republic to come in after them. So we did. Only to be met with the month after month of flesh-eating diseases, shrieking nocturnal predators, and other sights that haunt me to this day.
In addition to this, there were a couple modes I hadn't really tried before reviewing this game, like this, Hunt mode. I selected it on Hoth, and when it came up, I saw I got to play as Wampas.
Really? Best mode ever.
When it comes to problems that I have with these games, I can only really think of two nitpicks. First, let me present a scenario to you, and you tell me if you've experienced it. You set up a string of a few matches in instant action to go through. You go through them, have fun, maybe roll off a cliff by accident, and once you've gone through all the maps, they cycle on you. So instead of going back to the menu and immediately picking more maps to go through again, you have to wait for the first map to load, exit the session, choose instant action, and pick more maps. DICE, I need you guys to streamline this in the new one.
The only other issue I can think of is the AI. It's not very good.
You can easily run past enemy troops, and they might just ignore you. Then we have the Emperor and Mos Eisley Assault, who only shoots Force Lightning. I'm not even kidding. That's all he does. Ever. But the best part is when someone comes up to attack you, hits you once, and then runs away.
Are you sure you need a Jedi of my caliber for this battle?
What? Imagine if that happened in real life. That's so hey! However, I keep going on and on about how the best thing about this game is the ability to plow through enemies. And the AI kinda contributes to this. And make no mistake, the AI isn't always like this. I have been slaughtered a lot. And you can fix the problem entirely by playing with human players.
So what can I say about this series besides, I've played these games my whole life and I intend to keep playing them. Battlefront II is one of my all-time favorite games, and Battlefront I is a classic as well. I love the core gameplay, and Battlefront II's extra modes of Rise of the Empire and Galactic Conquest greatly increase replayability. The controls are awesome, the weapons are satisfying, the maps, oh my god, I didn't even touch on the maps. Well, I'll put it this way, what other shooter puts so much love and care into its stages that it contains, for example, the garbage compactor on the Death Star? A pit in Jabba's palace leads you to the Rancor, which can actually eat you. Yeah, this game is full of touches like that, and I love it. These are two of the best licensed games ever made. I can't recommend them enough.
And hey guys, something else I forgot to mention. 2 years of reviewing down. Whoa, I can't believe it's gone by that fast. Last year I did 24 reviews, and this year I did 16. Yeah, it's called sophomore year being 20 times more time consuming than freshman year. But no matter, it's summer now. So it's time to do some more reviews. Next up is God of War 2. Sorry, Kratos.